Good morning, everybody. Kia, Silver, Linda. Hello, friends. It's good to see you. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. How's everybody doing today? Good morning, Garpu. Yeah, you guys are getting a lot of snow up there, aren't you? Like tons of people are live streaming the blizzard you guys are getting up there. My in-laws are supposed to be flying to Hawaii this week. They live up in Massachusetts. I'm not sure they're going to be able to get on a plane. We'll have to see. Well, it's supposed to be Wednesday, but still not even sure they will on Wednesday morning. We'll have to see. It will be interesting. Morning, Lady Prairie. Anyone know how bad it is in New Jersey? Like weather-wise? I do not. I haven't talked to anybody in New Jersey yet. Feeling exhausted from being so lazy all weekend. I mean, nothing wrong with being lazy. Scott lost power at 4:30 a.m. Oof. Did he get it back? Or is he still out of power? Whoop. Last I knew it was still out. Hey, Laura. Where did he say all this? I didn't see this update. Or did he come on to Vex's live or something? Just want to make sure I'm not missing stuff. Okay. Hey, Jeremiah. How are you doing, man? A snow bath? I'm pretty sure I'm assuming you meant snow bath and not a hoe bath. I'm not sure what a hoe bath is. Oh, that is? I don't know what that is. Nope. Never heard that term before. Oh, interesting. Gotcha. Interesting. So I saw an interview with Stephen A. Smith. Was it over the weekend? I think it was over the weekend. I think it was on Saturday. And it pissed me off. That man pisses me off more often than almost anybody outside of like this administration. Morning, Summer. I believe it's a real thing. What did he say? Racism, while technically is still there, is largely doesn't exist anymore. And all I could think of is how every time people such as himself say things like that it makes fighting against the realities of racism in this country that much harder. Sorry, Kia. So he said that while there is technically racism still out there, he doesn't think it's as bad as people on the left think it is. Oh, I think they are both. I don't think it's more of a class issue. I think the class issue just has to do with capitalism. I think that's a different beast altogether. I think those are two separate issues that are going on at the exact same time. And sure, if you're going to compare it to, pre-Civil War, sure, it's better, but it's not even, yeah. So yeah, it pissed me off. He pissed me off. And let's be fair, what's new? Like I said, I feel like every time he talks, he pisses me off lately. Which is why I'm glad I don't see him talk very often. So how about the BAFTAs? Man, I just... yeah. British Academy film. It's the British Actors Awards. Or it's the British Academy Awards. They really are, Lady Prairie. They really are. Good morning, Alyssa. According to the story that I'm looking at right now, so BBC apologized Sunday for the strong and offensive language at the British Academy Film Awards after a series of audible outbursts from an attendee with Tourette syndrome, including a racial slur yelled at Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were on stage, were not cut from the final broadcast. Yeah, the problem is it was filmed and they didn't bleep it out. That was the problem. Like, it wasn't live. Yeah. Yup. Sure did. It's I don't even know anymore. Some days I mean, again, I understand when you've got Tourette syndrome, you can't control things, but also, like, come on. Sit here and I go, okay, how did he learn this stuff to begin with? And B, why didn't it get bleeped out? It's like a double whammy. Does theirs? I have no. I mean, Tourette's is somewhat different for every person. It's not a there's not super like consistency on when it happens. My understanding. I didn't say you didn't know what it is. I'm just saying you asked, does their Tourette's only act up? And I'm saying I don't know about theirs. I know that I don't know what their trigger is or anything. The report didn't say anything about that. It didn't say. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he did it other times. I see what you're asking. I don't know if his came out at other times or just when they were up there. Morning, Angel. I'm told there are ways you can retrain the behavior to focus on a different word too. You can always tell when it's been a different kind of a week, and people are like tired of things for a little bit. Like I know it'll pick back up, but I was surprised at how low some of the numbers were from last week's videos. Love the visit with Emily you posted this morning. She's just a little ray of sunshine. Yeah, she's pretty cool. Gonna be doing a new series actually with her. A bi-weekly series. Because I'm not busy enough. Morning, Maureen. I'm here listening, just dropping food in the crock pot for later. No worries. Yeah, this weekend was weird for me. The whole tariff thing has just been weird for me. Hey, Tanya. I don't know either, Kia. I've been watching the Senate drama in Texas. What drama? I'm disgusted, and I find it's made me quite ornery. Yeah. Yeah. I was in church yesterday, and I love my pastor. And he was talking about something that needed to be talked about, and there were some periods where he was not being as matter of fact as I hoped that he would be, and it was frustrating me. I'm very much getting tired of having to hold people's hands. I mean, I don't know much about the Cornyn Paxton drama. I'm assuming the Tallarico Crockett drama is still regarding the whole thing with Colbert, or is there more to it lately? I saw some video with Crockett talking about Tallarico, but I did not, at least I think it was Tallarico. That's what, but I didn't actually like watch it, so I don't know what was going on. Is from Cornyn tweeting about Paxton's divorce. Gotcha. Need to see people taking initiative before you feel inclined to educate. Yeah. I firmly believe that there are certain things that, like, I think there are times where it's important to be understanding of different people's perspectives, but I also believe that there are times where you need to just say things how they are. And I feel sometimes we often, as Christians, spend too much time trying to not hurt people's feelings instead of being straight. But Crockett Tellerico dramas from Crockett's continued comments around the Colbert Show, while Tellerico said he'd campaign for her if she wins the primary. Gotcha. What are the early polling numbers like in Texas right now? Again, I understand that it's in certain points, in certain situations, especially when you're talking about perspectives or like people's have experienced different things, that it's important to say things in certain ways so we can keep talking. But I think at other times, I think there are definitely times for being, straight about what is and what isn't okay. And I feel too often Christians go to the first one, pretend that every perspective is okay, and yet don't pretend every perspective is okay, and yet it's just messed up. It's so messed up right now. It's so messed up right now. Well, yeah, I mean, lack of accountability is massive right now. But that's for everything. I haven't actually seen voting numbers beyond DNC versus GOP tickets. GNC tickets have a higher vote, which makes sense. That is often the case. The question really is what is it going to be a higher percentage of eligible voters? That's in the end, that's what I want to know is when it comes down to when the primaries are done, what will the numbers be when it will it be more than 23%? That's really what it is. I mean, Kia, it comes down to this whole perspective that every perspective is okay. And that's something I disagree with. I think there are flat out wrong perspectives. You're far more patient than I am, and that pause helps me say, yeah, I think I need to think something differently or not. I was right. Which, I mean, that's the whole purpose of a conversation, right? But I fully admit I'm a judgy little goblin, so I mean, we all are biased. We all have our perspectives, and we all have our experiences that help decide how we see things. It takes work to it takes a lot of work to have conversations, real conversations. They aren't easy. We have plenty of ways to do tariffs. Actually, we don't have plenty of ways to do tariffs. That's the point. There's actually reporting out there that says his new ones aren't legal either. Good morning, Carrie. Like, we literally don't have plenty of ways to do tariffs, which is the entire point of which is the entire problem. There are very specific ways that we can do tariffs. Nope. No, the president by Congress does not have the authority to negotiate tariffs. Congress has the authority. That's the whole point. There are very specific methods and ways that tariffs can happen. Negotiation is not one of them. Nope. Congress does not approve. Congress enacts them. Morning, Jods. Morning, Courtney. Just give it a quick Google kid. All right, Michael. Ah! Hey, Lacey. That's right, because AI. Whew. Boy, do they know things. As though I have not been researching tariffs and how they work at minimum since before April. How you doing, Lacey? My father-in-law pissed me off. He was like, how come it's legal for other countries to tariff us, but we can't them? Yeah. AI has created some discount geniuses. One person's written opinion does not make law. There isn't precedent. What's up, Ghost? How you doing, buddy? Oh, by the way, for members and people in the fan club, you should have a new emote to use, I think. Maybe it didn't go live, but you should have a new emote. You're living. There you go. Fire libs, baby. I'm doing good, Ghost. Busy. Just so busy. So many videos that I'm editing. But good other than that. Silver, it's not that doesn't exist. It's that his reasoning for doing it still might be wrong. Editing is the longest part. It's definitely the most, yeah. Yes. Correct. Tariffs are a tax on consumers. Tariffs are making this place worse. The fact that you think that taxing people more, causing people to spend more money, not to mention the fact that we are importing more, we are importing more than we are exporting now than we ever have. It's literally gone up. No, it's called data. Canada does not tax our imports to the US. Canada taxes the people that import. That's different. They're not taxing us. Canada taxes their own people. That's what a tariff is. And the IEEPA tariffs are not constitutional, as the Supreme Court decided. Guys, if you're over here on TikTok, please tap that nose. It helps push it out to other people, as well as sharing and joining the team. Any of those. OC, thank you so much for everything. I appreciate that. Congress is in charge of the money. They're in charge of taxes, and tariffs are a tax. According to the Constitution. Oh, you look like you're suffering from small D syndrome, closeted non-autistic. Yeah. The trade deficit massively increased. Hey, Half Pint. You found me. I didn't know I was lost. MAGA is asking for higher taxes by supporting the tariffs, literally. Yep. You lost your main forever. No. I'm sorry to hear that. Taxes are stupid? No, I don't think taxes are stupid. Taxes are necessary for a society to run. It's how you pay for roads and firefighters and policemen and a lot of other things. Schools. Now, do I think we use all of our taxes correctly? No, I don't. I think our government, all governments, state, federal, local, in general, do not use them in the best way possible. But Larry, I'm not a Democrat, so I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I'm not. Never have been, in fact. In fact, I have voted for more Republicans in my life than Democrats, if we're being honest. Just because you disagree with me doesn't make me a Democrat. Good morning. And I've talked about Diddy plenty of times. Hey, Hammy. Not the party, it's the person. Yep. Now, do my values align with the current Democratic Party? Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Totally. Guys, if you're over here, there's 287 people on here. Please tap. Please tap. Please tap. Please tap. And join the fan club, things like that. It helps a lot. Then you are no. Who you vote for does not make you a Democrat. I will consider voting for anybody. Literally. I will consider voting for anybody. I don't care what party you're under. I don't vote for someone because they have a letter next to their name. That doesn't change the fact that my values in general align with the Democratic Party. Hey, Gina. You shouldn't stand with any party, JD. That's the point. That's called identity politics, and that's stupid. You think like them, you agree with them. I don't agree with them on everything. What are you telling me what I agree with? Yeah, I said my values tend to lean towards the Democratic Party, the current Democratic Party. That doesn't mean I agree with them on everything. I mean, Kia, I understand why you're a registered Democrat. Disagree, Hammy. She was literally the most qualified choice to ever exist as a presidential candidate. There has never been a more qualified person to run for office than Kamala Harris was. And to say otherwise is being short-sighted and ignorant. Both sides have good ideas. In 2026, I'm not sure I agree with that. I'm going to be honest with you, DA Stork. I'm not sure I agree with that in 2026. Oh, see, Margaret, you could everything at the end of your statement means nothing because of what you just said in the beginning. This is why we can't have conversations with some of you people. I'm saying I disagree that the party has good ideas because the current party is the president's party. And everyone supports him in almost every aspect of what he is doing. Could you have made that argument 20 years ago? Sure. But I'm not sure you can make that now. Well, aw, Black Bear. Must be nice to have a privileged family that has money that could get braces. Idiot. This current administration doesn't understand foreign affairs, economies, or tariffs. It's called working. You're telling me my parents didn't work, Nathan? Is that what you're trying to tell me? You're telling me but both of my parents that worked their asses off didn't work? Not hard enough. Bite me. Good morning, Emma. I'm not even worrying about the 2028 election right now. You've got to be kidding. Right now I'm focused on the midterms. And we'll see who runs. We can talk about what specific ideas we want people to run that they believe in, but I don't think we need to worry. I think we need to stop worrying as much about them as we are. Good morning, Patty. This is why my blood pressure likes YouTube more. That's fair. Until the Republicans dump MAGA and Trump, they have nothing to offer. I agree. Current party is only concerned for wealthy and power. Anyone not rich to them are of no value. That comment is a dumb comment, good guys. Finn first. Swear. This is why having conversations is near impossible. Good morning, Kelly. How are you? Like, you can't come in and actually have a conversation because all you do is come in and insult my looks, my intelligence, all because you disagree with me. Did I get snow? No, I'm down near South Carolina. It's cold, but we got no snow. My family up in Massachusetts is getting a blizzard though, which is crazy. It's difficult to have conversations nowadays, adults behaving like children. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit more than that, but yes, I agree. I think in people's minds, debates are conversations, but they're not. Let's talk about how Howard Lutnick's kids are going to make millions off the tariff refunds. If they happened, yep. If they end up happening, yep. Oh, I know. They made millions off of betting on the tariffs being overturned. This is what I'm talking about. We need to stop focusing on, like, these people in office don't care about you or me or any of us. Guys, if you're over on TikTok, please keep tapping that nose. It's a giant grift. Yes, it is. our tax dollars. I mean, well, technically, the money that they took from companies would be paying back the tariffs. So no, our tax dollars wouldn't be paying back the tariffs. They would they will in the sense of they've already spent all the tariff money. So it's not like the money is there. But yes. Hey, Lisa. But not to the people. Correct, Heather. My bigger issue is what? $10 million being of our tax money going to this, being given to this board of peace that's not a government entity in any way, shape, or form. Or $2 million, $2 billion, $10 billion being given that $2 billion a year being put into this America's version of the WHO. Even though we were paying less a year to be a part of the WHO, and they already have all the stuff that we need. It's all so freaking ridiculous. It's called stealing. Yep. What does the WHO have? Research laboratories, scientists. It's a health organization. It deals with the health of the world. I don't know. That is great. I never know what's serious anymore. Hi, Rosa. How are you, my friend? Is no one on the right raising eyebrows about $10 billion money being moved to an account that he has control over? Mr. Wallace, this is the same group of people that is willingly ignoring how many of the people they support are on the e-files. Because they don't care. Because it was never about that. I'm doing okay. How are you? I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I actually got a lot of sleep last night. By the way, for everybody who is part of the fan club or helps support me, there is a new fire lips emote. Oh, the cats are going crazy over on the tube. Community people can come up if you want. Also, imagine if any sitting Dem president suing the federal government for even $1 little and 10 billion. Fox and Friends would be losing their shit. Yep. 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 Hello.
Hey, you know what's crazy is when I look, like I click, like if I was going to bring other people up, you can usually see like the main people who are in the live,
Mhm.
and I see two people. One is faceless, the other is Stuff by Duff. Those are literally the only two people it shows me as guests in this room right now.
Who
Did you
would
see what Cannon said about Jack Smith?
no. know.
She's refusing to release the rest of the refusing to release the rest of the Jack Smith stuff, said it's not fair to the orange one.
Of course. Who would support you? You make no sense. Okay. I don't need your support, Jack. Just move on. I don't even know why you felt the need to talk in the first place.
Yeah, it dropped a little bit ago, maybe like 45 minutes ago or something like that.
Interesting.
But yeah. And then I saw something else just drop, but I didn't actually open it up. It says the orange one says Supreme Court gave him power to do quote unquote absolute terrible things.
Yeah, look at this. Judge Cannon permanently blocks release of Jack Smith report.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's going to be fought.
Oh, for sure. She's so problematic. She's
Mm-hmm.
so problematic on so many different levels.
Mm-hmm. The fact that releasing something is problematic to somebody else as a reason for not releasing them feels like feels impeachable to me. If he's got nothing to hide, why do it? Yeah, exactly. That's the point. It's like, do you care about the law or not?
That's my thing, that it's the party of law and order. It's like, what? What law? What order?
Yeah, they don't care about that. You hear John Barron on C-SPAN. We all know it was him just curious. I did not see anything on C-SPAN.
So somebody brought that up on GT's live the other night, and he played the video that he saw, and he said it sounds like it's AI. Like it doesn't. It sounds fake. But he did admittedly say, "This was my first time hearing about it. I haven't looked into it, but when he this watched the video, he said it looks AI. It doesn't look real."
I mean, if it was on C-SPAN, I would think C-SPAN has all their videos. It should be able to find it on C-SPAN or on C-SPAN's YouTube page at least.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because it was a video that somebody had made. It wasn't like GT said, "Well, I haven't looked to see, is this actual C-SPAN footage? Did somebody edit over top of it and just make a video? Like
Yeah.
what was the actual deal with that?" What's going on in Mexico right now is crazy.
Yup.
Smitty had a live yesterday, and he was bringing up people, um, that both people that live there and are in the areas that are being affected, different areas that are being affected, other people that live in other parts of Mexico, and what they're saying. Are they being affected at all?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
Yep. Yes, and Cuba, Chrissy. Yep. What's going on
Yeah.
there too? It's just he figured it out and then added an additional 10%. He didn't figure anything
I'm
out.
not gonna pick you.
He didn't figure anything out. Especially considering there's talk that even these new ones are unconstitutional too.
They're gonna have to cancel their trips, especially for the foreseeable future. Like, they were showing footage of like the Guadalajara airport, like people were running out of that. The people that work the counters were letting people, like travelers, hide behind the counters, and stuff, stores being set on fire, and buses, and pew pews going off. And like this one lady was saying, she lives in Cancun, but has friends and family members in Puerto Vallarta. There's a lot, they're canceling the flights. So
Mm-hmm.
like you're basically stuck. You got to stay in place.
Yep. Yeah, it's really bad. the Dow is down 663 because of his new threat. That's not surprising at all. And I think I saw someone else saying that he can't, like, once he actually enacts these tariffs, he can't just flip them off and flip them on like he's been doing. Like, he can't just make changes. Can you, Mexico, with support from the United States, took out a cartel leader, and the cartels are causing chaos across the country. We'll say chaos
Yeah.
as a nice way of saying it. They're
Yeah.
destroying a lot of it.
I know like United and American have canceled all flights to that region, to any of the airports in that region at all. Um, People were talking about how they were lighting vehicles on fires parked in the street. Um, One lady was saying how like they had told her like in the app, her neighborhood communication app or whatever, that they're to stay in place. They're bringing in extra police and stuff to help guard the areas.
They are only good for 150 days, but they're still unconstitutional. And if anything, because of the way he set up these new tariffs, they will be more destructive than his earlier ones, because he put them on the entire planet. And now,
Oh, sorry.
and now the EU is canceling, is talking about putting the ratification talks with the new trade deal on hold because of what he did, and a bunch of other countries too.
Frodo, it was on a bunch of like, I know I was getting like news articles. I saw it on my local news area, WRAL was showing it. But I know you would have probably, if you have like a news app and it drops stories, you would have probably, the story was dropping as a cartel leader on a live. And that's where everything is coming from that. And then Shawnee, of course we didn't know better. I mean, come on. It's 2026 and we're still trying to colonize.
Mm-hmm. And we also think that the best way to fix things is with force, even though that has actually never fixed things. Like, I want to make that clear. Force has never actually fixed problems. 9 times out of 10, it makes things worse. Since the Dow is down, can they now focus back on the e-files? Who? Can who focus on it? We're not stopping focus on it. I know that this administration is trying to. Being the exception? No. See, again, we did not start World War II. World War II was something that we were brought into. All of us, like every country that was in it or ended up supporting. Like, we did not go in and say, we are going to stop this by force. We were attacked. So World War II is not the exception. The German government at that time tried to make a world that they wanted by force, and it didn't work for them. Because again, force does not ever fix problems. Defense and force are very different. I always say, if you want to fix the illicit substance problem, just making it illegal doesn't fix it. Just going in and doing what, and then again, I'm not sitting here trying to say that the head of a cartel does not deserve to be no longer with us. I'm saying that does not fix the overarching problem. You ask anyone in Mexico right now if what they did was a good thing, I guarantee you they will say no. Right now. How do you fix problems of a cartel? You make it so there is nobody willing to buy the things that they are selling. That is what fixes the problem. Again, our country, especially because I can almost guarantee our government is the reason that this happened in the first place, loves to say that making things illegal is what fixes the problem. Force fixes the problem. Putting a Band-Aid on a gushing wound fixes the problem. It doesn't. What fixes the problem is finding out why the gash happened and making sure that that doesn't happen anymore. It's actually sewing it up, not just putting a Band-Aid on it. Legalize? I mean, there's definitely argument to that, Silver. There's definitely argument to that.
That's a great argument because there's no need for them to do what they're doing if people can just produce it in whatever. But the couple things. If you guys don't know our history, the history of the United States government and certain three-letter agencies when it comes to schmugs and stuff, please look into that. Like honestly, I didn't know until a friend of mine made me aware about 15, 20 years ago. There is a lot of stuff that has happened back and forth across these borders that the government has partaken in. And and like I said, I didn't know. If you don't know that, please make sure you do some research into that for sure
Hey,
because
Barbie.
there's a lot of stuff that happens. And the other thing is with prisons, same thing, same person, my friend Peanut. Same thing with prisons. Do you guys not understand how much of a business prisons have become and how much money people make off of locking people up
Mm-hmm.
in freaking cages and shit?
Mm-hmm.
It's a big business, y'all. It's a
Mm-hmm.
big business.
The fact is, we could fix the problem. Well, at least not, it wouldn't ever go away because let's be fair. There's always going to be people that want to use some of these substances. And there will always be people that will try and find a way to do things that will end up making it more dangerous. But if you look at the majority of the reason that a lot of people end up using it, it's for things that we do nothing about. Like things like depression and stress and homelessness and all of these other things that get them into situations where they feel like they need to use this stuff because it makes them feel better, regardless of whether it actually does in the long term. They feel that way at the time.
Yeah, I think it's gotta be a multi-pronged approach.
Always.
It's gotta be, I think, the legalizing, the decriminalizing, and then both the mental health and substance abuse programs and help programs
Mm-hmm.
to get not people, not just get them passed. I mean, because if you guys don't understand or know, like people have spent decades in prison behind having certain substances that in some states you can legally walk into a store and buy. These people have lost the ages, they have lost so much in life and what has happened. And then you just think, okay, we're just going to throw them out there and they're supposed to become productive citizens of this country. But how? There's nothing. Like, what are they supposed to do? A lot of them, if they don't have access to a phone in the place where they've been or Wi-Fi and how to do things like that, have they had any kind of job training? What are they supposed to do? And then they wonder why so many people end up back in prison,
Mm-hmm.
why the recidivism rate is so high. I think it's got to be so many things. Like that's why I was telling you that one day, like you have to legalize and decriminalize. You got to do both because if you look especially when they started doing that, when they started locking up people behind that stuff, look at the data and see who were the people, what did they look like, what did the people look like that were getting locked up for all these sentences and all of these things that were happening.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we already know that it hasn't worked in this country for a variety of reasons. Hell, we have a whole amendment that made alcohol illegal, and then they had to make it legal because it didn't stop anything. Like, making stuff just illegal without anything else to go along with it has never fixed a problem in the entire history of humanity. I want to be clear on that. For the entire history of all of humanity, making something illegal has not fixed the problem. Ever. Literally ever.
And I will say also, and like Rosa, kind of piggybacking off of what you say, and I think the other thing is too, is there's certain substances that we know you're not supposed to use, but again, in certain states you can go in the store and buy them. And as somebody who was previously on 7 different mental health medications at one time, those can do they could do a number on you. And I think that's one of those other reasons. Like, it's like you can literally, you can go, to this state or that state, and that state you can go to the store, you can purchase something and it's fine. And then in another state you catch a little something and they're trying to lock you up and hold you behind bars for forever. And it's like, what does that do? How does that help you? How does that help the problem? How does that stop the problem?
Yep.
It doesn't.
Uncooperative. So here's the thing with seatbelts. Making it illegal to not wear seatbelts didn't make people wear seatbelts. Showing people that you are more likely to survive an accident with a seatbelt has helped dramatically. People still don't wear seatbelts, whether or not it's legal or not to do it. If anything, most of the people that put on their seatbelts only do it because their cars have started going ding, 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 like if you don't wear it. And they're like, fine, I'll wear it. But in terms of actually I don't wear my seatbelt because it's illegal not to wear it. I wear it because I know that it will protect me if I get into an accident. The legality doesn't fix the problem. People understanding why it's important and seeing the results are what help fix the problem. Seatbelts did not, like, when you're adding a new thing, you can, I'm actually, like, when you're adding a new thing, like seatbelts didn't used to be a thing at all. And then when they put them in, they were having trouble getting people to use them because a lot of people didn't see the purpose. I don't mind saying people need to wear their seatbelts and putting something in there, even if it's just a small fine that doesn't go anywhere. It convinces people to wear seatbelts. But honestly, time would have fixed that too. But the law itself did not fix the problem of people not wearing their seatbelts. People still don't wear their seatbelts. Hell, the seatbelt dinger probably has convinced more people to wear their seatbelts than a law has. If we're being honest, probably the best thing to get people to wear seatbelts was a little dinging sound your car makes. My dad stopped wearing one because they made it illegal. He said they have no right to force him to protect himself from himself. I mean, that's also true. Arguably, that's also true.
As someone who got in a wreck and would have unalived if I didn't have my seatbelt on, it's like more power to you. If you want to go out there and you want to wear, but the one thing I do think though, if you have passengers in your vehicle, you shouldn't be allowed to have the choice to not wear one, because then you become a projectile if you're in a vehicle with other people and you don't have a seatbelt on. Your body can become something that unalives somebody else, and that's not fair.
That's yeah, and this is where the hard part of the conversation always comes in, is where do your rights intersect with other people's rights? And that's the problem that we deal with in a lot of things, whether we're talking about firearms, whether we're talking about religion, whether we're talking about speech, whether we're talking about a lot of things. This is the issue that we have with having this conversation, is there's a lot of people that only think about themselves and aren't or vaccines or medication or blah blah blah. Like, when it comes down to it, it's like we have the right to be able to have our laws useful. Sure, laws of course are useful. Of course laws are useful. Laws do encourage. Are laws unconstitutional? No. Especially when we've got a constitution that's job is to make laws. Like the job of Congress and states is to make laws. So no, laws cannot be unconstitutional. But sure, I'm not saying that there cannot be consequences. I'm saying if we only use consequences and don't do anything else, we're not going to fix anything. Making something illegal without doing something else to try and prevent the problem from happening in the first place doesn't actually fix the problem. I don't have a seatbelt is a law. Yep, seatbelt is a law. But again, what convinced people to wear seatbelts is not because it's a law. That does not mean I don't think there should be a law that you should wear. You must follow it. No. If you're willing to deal with the consequences, you are more than able to not follow it. That's the point. If you don't give people a reason to wear seatbelts along with making it illegal, then it's just a rule that people are going to push back on. This is the part of everything is not black and white. There is nuance to it. You will pay. You're right. Those people would pay. The question then becomes, why aren't they wearing it? What did we as a society not do correctly to make them understand that wearing one is important and valuable? Again, if you just end with, it's against the law, you will pay, and that's it, and nothing else is done, then the problem is society. Not that person, I would argue.
I think it's just, it goes but this is, I think, part of why in this country, why we had so many people upset about what happened during C-19. Then you get people upset that they tell you should wear your seatbelt. And I'm like this, if you're a grown-ass person and you want to get in a seatbelt knowing what they can do, that they could potentially save your life, and you choose not to wear one, that's fine. If you're in my vehicle and you're riding with me, you're going to wear your seatbelt, because I don't give you permission to become a projectile in my fault. The thing is, accidents are accidents. Nobody is expecting for them to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, I agree with them, like, making laws to stop people from smoking in public places. Just because you choose to want to sit there and smoke cigarettes or whatever else, that's absolutely fine. You're grown. You can do that as long as you're not harming anybody. But I also don't think as an adult you should be able to ride in a car with your kids with the windows up and you're smoking cigarettes. Your children did not give consent for that,
Mhm.
for the things that can happen. I think it comes down to certain things, but I at the same time, I don't think that a police officer should be able to stop you and you get a ticket and you have to go to court and you get points on your license and all that. That's just a whole fucking grift.
Yep.
That's a whole grift.
Yep.
I understand you getting tickets if you don't stop at stop signs. People not stopping at stop signs have caused people to lose their life. You can literally unalive somebody. Now, just riding in the car with your seatbelt off is not going to unalive anybody else. It's not going to harm anybody else.
Yep.
So it's like, but to me, it's the whole grift of it, the money part of it. There's too much focus on shit that is not as important as the stuff that we should be focusing on. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like, I think that's for me
I would,
where it comes down to.
yeah, I would argue that what what it really should be, at least with the seatbelt or things like that, is like if you don't wear a seatbelt, that should definitely be something like you can say there's a law that says you're supposed to wear a seatbelt. And when it comes to if things go to court or if things are looked at and you go, this person didn't wear a seatbelt and they were supposed to, well, that should come into play when things, after things happen. But yeah, there's just, like I said, there's nuance to it. There's always nuance and there's always more to it. Right now, all we do is say we don't like something, we should just make it illegal. That is the overarching response to everything. We don't like undocumented immigrants in this country. Oh, let's just make it illegal.
Yeah, and that doesn't work. That doesn't fix the problem.
No.
It's literally not even, it's like, I don't even know if it's putting a Band-Aid on the problem. It's literally just like taking some water and getting your hands wet and at it, and that's basically what it is, because it allows people to keep making money. You don't solve the problem. The big pharma keeps to keep making all the money. The jails keep making money. The probation, like the money just keeps being made. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Gulliver, the countries don't pay our tariffs. We do. What part don't you get about that? You're right. Only about 60% of the tariffs were taken down because of IEPA. But we pay the tariffs, not other countries. I don't understand why you cannot understand that. What Republican, conservative, Christian want to do? Yeah. With LGBTQ marriage. Yep. Hey, Tiffany.
It's Ghost. It's like when I think about that, um, I can't help but think about, like, in the back of my mind, like, do you realize when my parents were born, it was against the law for them to have gotten married?
Mm-hmm.
My parents, my parents, not my grandparents, not my great grandparents, my parents, like the two people that came together and created this mess. They were not even, it was against the law. And Rose, I agree. Just because your feelings, you don't like it, you don't ever have to do it. Same thing with abortion. You don't like it, you don't ever have to get one. But what you like or don't like, just like I don't like freaking pickles. I'm never gonna buy a jar of pickles. You're never gonna catch me ordering pickles on my pizza or pineapple on my pizza. But you don't get to make laws to dictate stuff just because you like or don't like something. And I think, the big issue, especially when it comes to substances and stuff, is like I said, when you see what has done to not even just BIPOC communities, but the poor communities and stuff, like this is just horrible.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Bobia. Girthy pickles. Yep.
See, Zeus said I'm right.
Meow.
The cats say I'm right too. Check that out. It's not time. It's
That's
not
not
time.
that's not how I interpreted what they were saying, but
Good morning.
morning.
Good morning.
Are we talking about tariffs again?
Well, technically, we're
Well, we
talking about it for the first time, really, because I was doing something else on Friday.
Yeah, well, actually, no, because we've talked about tariffs since like a year ago when he started this whole
Oh, well,
tariff diatribe.
true. The fact that there are
And
still people that don't realize or believe that we're the ones paying it is wild to me.
it's math. Like, the fact that these companies are getting the refund in the US should tell you right then and there who is paying the tariffs.
Uh,
Canadian companies aren't actually requesting refunds for the tariffs, nor are European companies. It's American companies. Like, hello.
no, Rad. Actually, if you look at their decision, it said him using IEPA as a way to do tariffs was unconstitutional because that's not what IEPA was for, and B, Congress is Congress are the ones that are in charge of things like taxes, not and tariffs are a tax. So
On the
yes,
American people.
the use of IEPA to put tariffs on other countries was unconstitutional, which is why it was voted against. Arguably, they did not say there was no process, any process in any way that he could not use. He said IEPA was one that he couldn't use. And there's argument that even the one he's trying to use right now is not allowed either.
Like, just a question. I don't understand why people are arguing, like, why there are some Americans who are arguing about having tariffs used when they are the ones who are paying the tariff. Like, why would you ask your
Tiffany.
government to tax you more? I genuinely don't understand, especially if you're not getting any benefits. I understand paying more taxes if all of a sudden it meant universal health care for all, universal education for all, better roads, better something that gave you benefit. But literally, this gives you zero benefit. All you do is pay more for anything.
Because Tiffany, they're being told it's not. They don't think that's what it is. That's why I tried to stop you from even saying everything else, because they don't believe you. They don't. They're listening to folks who don't know what tariffs is, tell them what tariffs are, and they have a complete misunderstanding. They have no idea what they're talking about. That's why.
They have been told that let's use China as an example. What they have been told is that what China is charging America is so much greater that what's actually happening is China is absorbing the tariff.
What?
Yes, that is what they are being told, and that is what they believe. They believe that American companies and American people are spending no extra money on it.
They need to go find that guy who I just saw his TikTok yesterday, who owns a company in the US, who literally just talked about how he's going to double his profit because he's getting a refund for all the tariff his company just paid, and he's keeping his prices up to the same price they were when he added the tariffs. So maybe they need to go check out that video, because maybe they need to hear it from the horse's mouth from these American businesses who have now come out saying, hey, we're not lowering prices, but we're getting a refund for the tariffs that we paid.
Well, they hope they're getting a refund.
Well,
They're going to be
that's a
making
question.
extra money anyways if the tariffs end up going down ever.
Yeah. Like, either way, they're going to be making extra profit, even if it's from today and they never got a refund. But either way, maybe they need to hear it from American businesses themselves, because apparently the rest of us are crazy. So maybe if they listen to the people who own the businesses in America who are saying this out loud, I
I
genuinely am like,
I had a guy in the tube comments tell me that because his experience, because he found it easy to get his IDs and birth certificates and all that stuff, and he didn't know anyone that had it difficult, that that it was easy for everybody, all 220 million voters in this country, because him and the couple hundred people at most that he knows, probably only 5 or 10 that he actually had this conversation with, it was easy for them. That means it must be easy for everybody. That's how people that have this mentality about stuff think.
I have a question about that, only because obviously Canadians, so our system's slightly different here. How do you guys get copies of your birth certificate and stuff? Because like here in Alberta, and I'm pretty certain most of the provinces are relatively similar. If I need a copy of my birth certificate, I just go to the driver's registry place and I order a copy, and they send it to me.
It depends on where you live in this country. Different states do it different ways. Like for me and where I live, I can just go, I can go to the courthouse, to the clerk of court, and give them the information, pay my money, and then a few minutes later I have a copy. But then like when I had to get mine from upstate New York for my passport, my mom was able to go to the courthouse because she happens to live in the place where I was born and get a copy. Or I could have done it online and they would have mailed it to me.
But a lot of them cost. Not all of them, but a lot of them cost, and that is really the problem that people don't get. I mean, yes, there is also difficulties, but in terms of constitutionality, it's because it costs money.
And although, I get that. I think ours are actually, I want to say like $80 or so. It's what we pay for fees here is like ridiculous. When I re-register my car in Alberta, I think it's $80 to $100 per year. Like when I re-register my corporation, it's the same. It's like $100+ a year just to register my corporation. Just no other reason, just to register it with the Alberta government for absolutely no purpose other than it's registered. Like, I genuinely, I look at these and I'm like, if people don't realize that all of these little fees are just taxes because they don't actually serve functional purposes. When you have to go file taxes every year, that makes sense. All of us have to file whether or not we owe money because it just, that's how the system works. But I'm like, why do we have to pay if we want copies of our birth certificates beyond, I don't know, maybe the processing fee, which should be like $20, not like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Like I genuinely don't understand how people don't realize they're just price gouging. The government's price gouging you.
See, for me, I think it's $10 for a certified copy.
Which it would have to be for this whole SAVE Act thing.
It has to have that raised seal on it for now. I don't know how much it is now because honestly, it's been 10 years since I've had to get copies of any of them.
Moral, she can talk on whatever she wants. We talk about Canada all the time. We also talk about other countries. You think just because she lives in a different country, she doesn't have a right to talk about her experiences and what she is seeing and what she thinks about them? Grow up.
Well, and more importantly, our experiences, albeit slightly different right now, are not incredibly different when you look at fee structure for paying for, I don't know, copies of our birth certificates, or fee structure when we're talking about, I don't know, tariffs. Yes, Canada has tariffs too. We have tariffs on stuff on other countries. Look, we just renegotiated ours with China. These are not universally exclusive experiences to just living in your own country. Like everything everybody does affects each other in some facet. It may not directly necessarily affect you to the point that you feel it, but it still affects you. I genuinely don't understand how people don't get this. What we do here in Alberta affects what happens in the US, and it affects what happens in another country around the world. That's we don't just live exclusively in our place and that's it.
And not only that, like with the birth certificate thing, like somebody like me who I'm 700 miles from home, and trying to get a copy, if I would have had to order it online, it would have taken me weeks to get. And then the thing is if you start adding those weeks and then with everything that's been going on with the postal service, it's just like things can get really dicey really quick.
Mm-hmm.
So I've only kind of vaguely heard about it. So you guys need a copy of your certified birth certificate. What else do you guys need to prove
So,
to vote now? The new rules, the Save
well,
Act.
there is no new rule yet. Nothing is law yet.
Okay, so kind of what's
But social security card, birth certificate, I forget everything. They gave some possibilities that you can use,
in
and
your passport.
passport as a possibility.
It's not proving identity, it's proving citizenship.
Yeah.
And that's what the issue is. And you know what? I have to say I was a little disappointed because I heard some people that, well, it's okay because we're all allowed to have our own thoughts and feelings. And they just keep saying, like, it's not that big a deal. If you have it's not that big a deal. But I'm like, when you also hear like MAGA hardcore GOP people on national television shows saying, "Oh, it's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal." You're like, "Wait a minute. You should be reading in between the lines because you're missing something. If they're out there trying to push it that hard, there's a reason. We already know we have to use those context clues in those situations."
And non-useful, actually, real ID driver's license would only work, I think, in 5 states. Most states do not require the kind of paperwork necessary for one that can be used in that respect.
That is an incredible amount of paperwork for people to have to bring. Like, I think I'm trying to think. They recently changed the laws in Alberta because, our premier is really in line with Trumpian politics here. I had to bring in my driver's license. So you obviously have to bring in picture ID. But before she had changed the law, you could have somebody sign a piece of paper verifying that you are who you say you are, and you could go vote. That was how it used to work in Alberta. Now it's ridiculous.
Well,
And it's interesting. So social security number can be used as identification?
as one, yeah, because you only get a social security number if you are a citizen, or at least there's technically certain numbers you can get for non-citizens, but they're different than the social security cards that you get.
Cool. I have a social security card for America. That's why I'm like, interesting. My parents applied for it when we lived in the States when my sister was born. Because my sister's American and I'm Canadian, so I was like, I was curious because I'm like, well, I'm the only one in my family who's not a citizen. How did I get one?
Well, you can get numbers. You can get numbers that allow you to do things like work and stuff like that, but it's different. And it's one of multiple things. It's not just that.
Cool, but not cool. Like it's voter suppression, and I don't like that. It's one way to ensure that there's voter suppression.
Well,
And
in the end, it's a poll tax. If unfortunately, this country has already decided as a whole that voter suppression is okay, because we do that in so many states right now. The only argument, unfortunately, that we can make constitutionally is the poll tax thing. Basically, if it costs money, or if it costs basically anything that makes it so certain people, that makes it seem like a poll tax, or that makes it a poll tax, is unconstitutional. But making it difficult to vote, unfortunately, is not unconstitutional, as we have found far too often.
So frustrating.
Yes, can confirm. Extremely frustrating.
It's frustrating too because you see how much time, effort, and energy goes into stuff that's not really a problem. And instead of trying to deal with the issues that are actual problems, that are big problems, and that need to be dealt with now, we're dealing with stuff that's not that big a deal. But we know why it's that big of a deal to them.
Mm-hmm. Clara mentions it, but I'll say it here for everyone that's over here on TikTok. I don't know if anyone's noticed. I'm sure everyone has. Things are different here, and in many ways, things are worse. Heck, I just started working on my taxes for last year, and 2025 was pretty crappy for this content creator, if not a lot of content creators, and it's only gotten worse this year. And we're only 2 months in, not even 2 months into it. So I go live over there as well as over here. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be able to keep going live over on TikTok. Not because I don't want to, but because it's barely worth the time and effort at this point. It's still worth it, but barely worth it. No, voter ID does not have the Dems freaking out for some reason. A lot of states require voter IDs. You're required to ID yourself to register in the first place. So I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be able to be over on TikTok. That's just a reality of things. So I'm also posting like 5-6 days a week over on the tube. Lots of things. I'm interviewing tons and tons of progressives that are running for office. And I'm going to say this now. If you're in North Carolina or Texas and you haven't voted in your primaries, get your ass out and vote in the primaries. That simple. Get your ass out and vote in the primaries. Or Arkansas. I don't know if they have early voting, but if they do, them too. And then Illinois and maybe one other state are coming up a little bit after that. So please watch their stuff and share their stuff, even if they're not in a state you're in, because they need things like name recognition and visibility, because they're not accepting things like PAC money. They're not accepting things. They're doing a lot of the stuff that we want them to do. But we need to support them in order for them to get past the primaries, because we not only need them to win in the general election, in many cases, we need them to defeat the incumbents, which in the primaries, incumbents have like a 95% win rate. So the question is, do we really want change, or do we want to just complain about it? So please go watch the stuff, share the stuff. There's a lot more coming out, a lot more. If I thought they would get views, I would post them all around the same time, but that's not the way algorithms work. So unfortunately, I have to spread them out. But please go follow over there. Also, I'm posting normal stuff. Just posted a video I did today with a pastor in Kansas who is a lesbian pastor from Kansas. She's the sweetest person you'll ever see. She's so nice. And it was a great conversation, to the point that we're going to be starting a series that'll be posted every 2 weeks starting in March. I tried reaching to the politicians here for your show, haven't gotten much of a response. I could give you info. Yeah, if you could give the info to either Rosa or Ash, they're doing all the reaching out, because I am really bad at it. And I'm usually recording 4 or 5 episodes a day now, and I don't have time to. I just can't do everything.
You can't? What do you mean you can't?
I know. It's
That's
weakness.
unacceptable.
It's weakness. I'm totally beta. Calendar is more filled than available. I mean, it's starting to slow down a little bit. Partially because, you know, it'll go in waves, especially as we get closer to other primaries. It'll start getting busy again because people want to make sure they get their name out before primaries come up. And
Did you see I haven't seen it yet, but I know Bex was quite upset about it, but about Cash partying it up with the Team USA after their hockey
oh
gold win.
yeah,
Because she was so excited, and then she's like, and she saw that, and she's like, and it just took away.
mm-hmm.
And you know, when I saw a video, I didn't see, like I said, I haven't seen any videos since that happened. I saw videos like right when they won the game and stuff like that. And I was reading the comments, and people were like, okay, is it okay to feel kind of patriotic? Is it okay? But something I realized in reading through the comments was how many people, especially this year for the Olympics, was really hard for them to support and watch and get behind.
Mm-hmm.
And they felt so, seemed like a lot of people felt some kind of way about either supporting or not, feeling both. Oh, that's so pretty. I love the swan.
Thank you, Patty, and thank you everyone that has gifted. I appreciate you all.
Yeah, I heard he took the private jet or whatever up there.
And for those of you who new that just came in, if you're part of the fan club or whatever the heck it's called, or a member, there is a new emote for you all.
Yeah, Rosa, I think some people were, and I think that was some, and when I'm talking like these, there were thousands of comments. And I mean, some of these comments had 100,000 likes on top of the fact that there were thousands of comments. And that's what so many people were like, they were like, I kind of wanted Canada to win. Or just like with all of them, is like, and I remember having that conversation. It's like, you know, you want to support the athletes, but the fact that they're representative there of the United States kind of sucks.
Thanks, Patty. Did you guys see Trump's new video of him as a hockey player winning against Canada? Sorry, I couldn't even get it out without laughing. It was just so.
No.
And then there was one of the representatives in the U.S. was thanking Governor Carney. I'm like, and all Prime Minister Carney was doing was congratulating Canadian athletes and how many medals we won, and that, like, you know, the Canadian team was bummed. Of course we are. Like, poor McDavid. I feel so bad for him as an Oilers fan, and if there's any Edmonton Oilers fans in here, I feel so bad for McDavid. Like, it's just like the poor guy can't get a break. He's like one of the best hockey players in the world, and the poor guy can't get a break, and I feel so bad all the time. But like, I saw so many comments. Like, I just started clicking off stuff on Facebook and social media, and the comments I was seeing under these videos when the American team won from some Americans was just so vile. The vitriol they were saying about Canadians, and I'm like, dude, do you not realize the internet's forever? I'm like, your president and his whole propaganda team and all those, they're not going to be forever, but like, this is forever. And Canadians have a long memory. Like, I hate to say it, we got a really long memory. And I'm like, I don't understand it. I'm like, I just genuinely don't understand it. I'm like, when did this feeling of like hatred towards Canadians happen, or was it always there? Like, I think as a Canadian, I think that's the biggest question I've always had. Like, when did that level of hatred exist amongst some Americans? It's obviously not all.
I don't think any of them actually hate Canadians. They don't have a clue what they're talking about. They have been told that X, Y, and Z are happening and we are being taken advantage of, and they hate the idea of being taken advantage of. I guarantee 99.999% of the people that are complaining about Canada have not in the last 10 years thought about Canada one time. They don't hate Canada. They just hate. And they are told who to hate. Someone is pointing them in a direction and they're going, I don't know why I hate them, but I've been told I need to hate them, so I'm going to say I hate them. They don't know. They don't care. They don't have a clue.
I heard about the e-files being. I saw a thing that said that there's several storage facilities, units across the country that have some stored there, evidently.
And
I
that
saw
Stored
wouldn't
and
something like
surprise
that.
me.
protected?
Hidden,
I
more
saw,
like.
yeah, I
I
saw
had to ask.
Angel's comment about the storage units. From my understanding, I didn't get to read through the article because I saw it literally as I was falling asleep. But it says something like there were several different storage facilities in different states, so they weren't all together.
But yeah, the MAGA has been told that by Trump and their leaders that all that pain you are feeling because things are expensive are because we are being taken advantage of, and this is who is taking advantage of us. So they are putting hate on that because they are suffering. But none of these people, none of these countries they think about ever, guaranteed. None of them. They don't think about China. They don't think about Canada or Mexico or any of them when they go to the store and buy food. Never. Never once. Guaranteed. They don't think about the fact that the wood for their houses come from Canada. They don't think about that. Or the wood that they're buying probably comes from Canada. They don't think about that. They don't know. They don't pay attention. They don't care. They've been told who to hate, so they're hating it. That's it.
It just, you know what? I think it's just hard for me because I'm like, I can't imagine somebody just telling me to hate somebody and not to actually question it
Of
or to
course, you're
question why.
Canadian.
Well, but we take advantage of everybody. That's like the Canadian way. Sorry, I couldn't even get it out. I had to laugh about it. But like I don't understand how you erase all of the other things that you know that we have jointly as countries done.
You're assuming
It
they even know that. They don't know that. You're not erasing it. It never existed in their minds to begin with. And this is
like
no offense to you. This is the problem is us. The problem is we don't teach people things. Like they don't know anything. That's the problem, is they don't know anything.
Going back to comments on videos, Mike, speaking exactly to that, there was, and now I can't remember the video, but it was something like historical about the United States and another country. And just reading through the comments, as someone's like, you don't know it because we're not allowed to teach it to you. And she put it in all, she said I think she said she's a history/social studies teacher, and she's like, they don't know it because we're not allowed to teach it to you. And that comment just like stood
Yeah. I mean,
out.
Yeah, a lot of classes are given the books to teach, and they have to, because of the way we do education, they have to teach what's in those books, and what is not in those books are probably a lot of the things that they need to be taught. And they can barely get through what they are required to teach by the state's education department, let alone anything else. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, and then I guess my thought to that goes to obviously it speaks to the education level too, because my thought is there's a lot of stuff that I know wasn't taught to me in school, even in post-secondary and in university. And I took history of Western provinces, and there was stuff that I guarantee I learned about Western provinces that others didn't know. And I know there was a lot of stuff about Indigenous people that was not included in those textbooks for a fact. But like, there's documentaries now, so if you don't like reading, you can watch documentaries. There's Audible, there's podcasts, there's like there's no reason or excuse to not learn something, anything anymore. Like, we have literally a device in our hand that we can learn anything on.
Because our education system does not teach people to want to learn.
That's what I'm missing right there.
There-
When did that happen? Actually, it's funny. I watched
A long time ago.
It's funny because I watched a documentary on Netflix about Reading Rainbow. Funny enough, all of us remember Reading Rainbow. It's like it lives in our heart, especially as millennials. And that show was literally a whole show about loving reading and loving learning. Like that was the whole premise of the show. I'm pretty sure that's what Sesame Street's whole premise kind of was too. Now that I think back.
Oh, I want to say this because I'm noticing it on other channels. One of the other reasons I think a lot of live numbers are down is I think a lot of people get frustrated that I don't see what you're writing. This app is so insanely bad at filtering when it comes to filtering comments. I go on people's lives, and 1 out of every 4, if I'm lucky, makes it through, and I'm not even saying anything. So that is the other reason to go over to the tube. You do not get filtered. I would love it if those numbers went up and these numbers went down, if I'm being straight. Because I feel horrible that I'll get like hundreds of people on here, and it will crash in numbers. And I guarantee that most of it is because you guys are getting filtered and probably think I'm ignoring you completely. I know I have left lives when I feel like I can't get any of my comments through. Like, I know that they're not ignoring me because I'll do the whole thing where I slide out and then slide back in and see if my comment is still there. And most of the time it shows it's not there. And I'm like, well, if I can't even have a conversation, I get frustrated. And sometimes I'll go out depending on who I'm watching. So that's the other thing to think about. That's been very difficult for a lot of content creators. It doesn't always say, it never says it was filtered.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you, and you don't know. You literally don't know if you're filtered unless you you have to leave that live and come back. That's the only way you can see if you're filtered.
No, Alyssa, Key and I both try and keep an eye on the tube. The problem is it's always hard when you've got 2 chats going in 2 separate places. Especially if you start going on one thing on one and then try and go back to another. It just gets hard, especially also because the delay is different on both. And that is frustrating too, where if I could get all the people on one, there wouldn't be a quote unquote delay. There would be It would just, everyone would be on the same thing. So it would be a lot easier.
Are you allowed to have guests on the YouTube channel just like you are here, or is that much more difficult?
We'd have to join a thing via like Discord or something.
Okay. I don't know much about YouTube. I guess I could ask my kids. They're both like, super into YouTube.
Yeah. It would be more like what's going on, what you do on like Twitch and stuff, which is fine. It's just it takes, it's not as easy, quote unquote, as TikTok, but the filtering has gotten ridiculous. It's so bad. Like I said, I'll go on to like Lewis's live and I like they'll filter me saying hi for
What?
some reason.
I put Ash Hole like I do for Ash's name on the tube when she came in Beck's live the other day, and it filtered me. And I'm like, it's not even a fucking like a word. It's, you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. But then when those weirdly worded, fonted things talking about N words and the P words come in, there's no violations and those show up just fine.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I know why so many of you come, like even go to the tube to start and then come over here. My biggest thing is if you can be over there and interact over there and do the things over there that help potentially push the live to more people over there, I'd rather be over there. If I'm just being straight, not because I don't like TikTok, but because it's becoming much more difficult to actually have a conversation when I can't see half of what people comment. I wouldn't be surprised if some people are putting things in that could be really good comments. Is by far the worst? Disagree. Is it as good as like a TikTok? No. But or a Twitch, I mean? No, because they've spent a lot of time and money to get theirs up. But it is not by far the worst. I mean, it depends what you're looking for, I guess. Says the person that cannot spell.
That was the best spelling job. Why, when people send insults, do they inevitably spell something wrong, or they use the wrong your or their? And it just totally ruins it. If you are going to try and insult somebody's intelligence, you should be using the absolute correct grammar and spelling for everything. Otherwise, you just look foolish. Just throwing that out there, Dano.
As a viewer's tarot finding. Oh yeah. Discoverability is wretched over there, Jeremy. I completely understand that. They need to fix that problem. Finding people is absolutely horrid. That is one of the main reasons I keep doing what I'm doing over here. But really, discoverability on every other streaming platform except for TikTok is pretty wretched. Some are a little better than others, but discoverability is always a problem.
I think for me, my biggest issue is the chat in the tube. I wish they would make it so because I mean, yes, if you're on a computer, you can direct reply to somebody, just start typing in their name and it pops up. But the fact you can't on the app sucks.
Yep. And
that's why just in case for those of you guys that don't know from here on the other side, if you have a long name, I'm only going to use like the first 4 or 5 letters. I'm not typing all of it out. I'm sorry. And
to be fair, they are better than they were even a year ago. They're better than they were 6 months ago. They are putting work and effort into the streaming side over there. They are making updates slowly, unfortunately. Slower than a lot of us would like. But really when it comes down to it, You look at a lot of the people that are going live now, like they're doing it on other apps, whether it's on the Tube or Substack or Twitch or all these other places. Like they're just not doing it. A lot of people have just left going live on TikTok. And they have accepted the, like, people have just gone with them and they're doing fine. The reality is if you follow me over there and you watch my stuff, my live will start popping up when I go live. It will. It does. It does for a lot of people that I watch. I understand why people like over here. Again, in some ways, I like it over here better. But when it comes to actually having a conversation, I can't have a conversation when half to 3/4 of what you guys say gets filtered. I just can't. And it sucks.
I don't know. I never noticed that they were filtering so much, but then again, I'm in Canada, so I don't know if we have a similar system or not
You would
anymore.
never know if it got filtered. You would never know. That's the point. When you post, it looks like it went through. You would never know. The only people that would know, nobody would. The only way you would even know is if you swiped out and swiped back in. If the comment is still there, that means it went through. I've tried Clapper. I don't like it.
Me either. Me either. It's like a low budget Temu version. It's just trash. The other thing is you have to make sure you're being careful of, is they're going really hard on the creators about the comments too. What you're putting in the comments, the creator can be deemed for in some type of way. So you have to make sure that, when you're in people's comments sections, and I know I see people from here in other spaces, and I could tell they respect our space and they don't talk the same way they do there as I see them in other places. But y'all have to be mindful what you're saying in chat. When you're sitting there arguing and fussing with other people in chat, you guys can be hurting the creator even worse than those people are. So just be mindful, especially if you're following somebody that uses this app as a form of income and you want to support that person. Please be mindful of what you're doing, please.
They're even on comments in our videos, they are filtering those comments more too, which is making it seem like my video is not having as much engagement as it is, because there are two levels of comments. There's, like, if I go into my comments, there are comments that I can see, and then comments that got filtered that I can still see. I don't have to approve them or not approve them. They just got filtered, which automatically makes them not be a part of my algorithm. And some of them are the most basic things. Like, I agree with you. I've seen ones like that be in there, and it's frustrating as hell. Because it's probably one of the reasons my stuff's not getting pushed everywhere.
And and the crazy thing is, Mike, is that literally every single creator except for Move animal videos, and then one of the ladies I follow for egg collecting videos, she was having the same thing. I think a lot of people lost people, especially when they changed super chat and they made it super expensive. That made people not want to engage as much. I did notice though, they are starting to let people do like sub only chats for lives now again. Because, for a while when they had first switched, that wasn't a possibility.
Oh, really?
But huh?
I didn't realize that.
The only reason I realize it is because GT started doing, I guess, like part of the live Saturday nights. If he's on, is going to be sub chat only. So I could go in there and stay. I could listen. I could tap. I just couldn't chat because I'm not a subscriber. But I
Gotcha.
think they fucked up when they did that. The changing the price to $10 a month.
Mhm.
It's like for some people that's not a big deal. For other people, it's a big deal, especially when some of these creators are doing $3 a month subs. It's
Mhm.
really easy to have hundreds or up to 1,000 of subs for some of the bigger creators when you're paying $3 or $5 a month. $10 is a big damn difference. Plus, they still want you to gift
Well,
in
and
order to help the creators to make
yeah.
more money and engagement.
And you can't even gift until you get over 50. So unless you've got enough people that are in there that are willing to sub in the first place to 50 or to get you to 50, you can't even gift in any, like people can't gift anymore because I'm not at 50 subs anymore. Like you have to stay above 50 for gifts to be still available. It's ridiculous.
So I think that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, because now they split it into two different programs. So something I noticed in a live the other day is people don't realize still there are two different subbing things on TikTok. There's sub only videos that you have access to. So like for me, I sub to Katie and it's only for videos. She doesn't do lives. And then you have super chat or super fan, which is for the lives only. That doesn't transfer you. So if you are a super fan, it doesn't automatically mean that you get sub video content anymore. And I think they really just talk about cutting off your nose to spite your face and stick your damn foot in your mouth. Like you really did. And then you started in with this insane filtering stuff and like look at how many violations. It's like now you can't even talk about any other place unless it's, here. I keep getting all these things for trying to send people away. And it's like, never have I ever told somebody to go somewhere else while I'm live. Why would I do that? I have like 7 to 10 people in my live. Why would I tell them to all go away? It's so frustrating.
According to 2025, 26, yeah, of course the United States has the highest even over China. They've got their own app that most
Yeah.
of them use.
And the other thing is too, yeah, because like exactly, they have Red Note and they have several other different. Like one of the creators I follow on here, she lived in China for a while and she taught there until actually 2020, and now she's in Mexico. She's been in Mexico for 4 years, but she was sitting there talking about they have completely different apps that there's not access to anywhere else. They're just for people that are there. And not only that, when some of the things you have access to are extremely filtered, I don't even know if it's even a way for us to be comparative to a lot of these other countries and stuff, unfortunately.
And I obviously, and I can't prove it, but I also think that that TikTok's apps algorithm specifically does not like the kind of content that people such as myself make. They like the rage baiters because rage baiting brings in more money. Rage baiting brings them in so much money.
It really does. Something else
Yep.
I've been hearing, Mike, because I try to listen when I'm in other lives, just tips that can maybe help you. Something that I heard, I think it was Erica maybe the other day was saying. So they set a bunch of small goals, penny goals, set like 100 of them, something that's easy to hit. And when TikTok sees, oh, people are gifting, the gifting. What the hell? Are you okay? Oh, girl, what the hell? Sorry, I didn't get to mute myself. I had to run away from my phone.
No, you're good.
But there's so much stuff. So like little things like that. Like if you're constantly the engagement, like not just the tapping, people doing comments about what's being talked about in the chat, setting those little small gift goals and hitting them and then resetting, that helps a lot because the other thing I think, and we've talked about this oftentimes, And even when Scott is in here, how it's amazing how some creators can literally say every fucking word they want. They can say all the bad names, they can say all the bad words. And then other people, even if a guest peeps it, now they're doing this 10-minute thing where the guest has to be dropped for 10 minutes. The live is restricted, the gifts are restricted for 10 minutes. And it's like, why is restricting gifts benefit from you? Because you're the ones that get the gifts. TikTok gets a big chunk of the gifts. Like if you get 2 pennies up here as a guest, when you leave, you get nothing because TikTok gets one and the creators kind of get the other or part of it. They just didn't do a good job. Talk about supposedly being good businessmen. They're just not doing a good job. People like TikTok because of the ease of use, the ease of building community, the ease of supporting the creators that they thought enjoyed their content. There you go. Look at you.
I mean, I'm doing this with 12 minutes left, but hey.
Test it out. What's the worst that can happen?
Like on the other side, like people are talking about how they don't have as many subs as they used to because of the price of it or what have you. But the part that they didn't tell you, y'all, if you did like year-long paid subscriptions, when they renewed at the previous price you paid, not the new price. They were sitting there telling everybody that they were changing to the new price. So like I had to actually go to PayPal because 2 subscriptions renewed, and for a whole year it was like $50 something. See, there you go. That all those little things help. And I like telling you guys because in chat too, you may not know about it. And when you go in other lives and you're engaging and you don't know how what you're doing is affecting the creator.
I mean, in the end, what I want and again, I know it's going to take time. I think that's my hardest part. And I've said this before. My hardest part with what I'm doing is I know it will be good and it will be helpful and it's important. And it's only been a month and a half since I started doing what I'm doing over on the tube. But I also see that how important and necessary it all is. And I'm just like, I just want it to grow so we can actually not be complaining about everything.
I need to reach out because if I'm not mistaken, I heard somebody talking about they move their subs to Discord and they get 90%.
Yeah, and I set it up over there. My problem right now is Discord has just gone so quiet. Like it's just, I'm sure people read stuff when it comes up, but there isn't much interaction going on over there anymore. And so for me at this moment, it's I don't want to set something up and
not have the ability to do the extra things to make it worth paying for. I feel you. And Paige, the Heart Me, y'all, Heart Me is one of the most important pennies you spend on TikTok. There's a reason why, if you ever pay attention to your points, there's a reason why a Heart Me is worth 45 points for 1 penny. It tells the creator, it tells TikTok, the fact that you're willing to go into the same space every day and say, hey, I'm part of this club. Hey, I'm part of this club. That's why if you notice, they have like emotes now, like I've been part of your fan club for 100 days, 200 days, 2 years, whatever it is. All of those little penny things. When you're over on the Tube of You, they have what?
He's here.
Who's here? The lips. Mike's lips. With their own emote.
Yep.
But yeah, like there's on the other side, if you guys didn't know, on the Tube of You can send super chats. Those are
and I get most of that.
Yes, he gets most of that. And sometimes, and one of the things with super chats, like I think we should make it, if we start getting them, one of the things about super chats is like, even when I watch the other bigger creators that have more people on the tube, like it's like part of the thing. When you send a super chat, your comment automatically gets read. They read it to make sure it's inclusive.
Yep.
And I mean, you could do $2, you could do 50, you could do whatever.
Yep.
The hot lips are in the chat all over. So yes, definitely. So when we talk about, doing the points, when we do the commercial and we talk about collecting those points, you see if you pay attention to your points and you see the leveling going up, it's telling TikTok that you're engaged with what you're watching. The higher the points, the more you do it, your level goes up. It's telling TikTok you're really engaged with what you're seeing in that creator. So just kind of keep those things in mind.
So, dear Camp, so there's two things, and I appreciate you actually asking, and I want so there's two things in your statement. One, they aren't. I know that when we hear we impose tariffs on other countries, we hear, or when other countries impose it on us, that we think that we are spending something. We aren't. So when Canada imposes tariffs on the United States, Canadians are paying it. I want that to be clear. When we impose tariffs on other people, we are paying those tariffs. Now, understand that those tariffs were deemed unconstitutional not because tariffs by their very nature are unconstitutional. The way he put the tariffs in place was what was unconstitutional. I disagree with tariffs as a whole, but we have tariffs on other countries. Always have. There's never been a moment that the United States has not had tariffs on somebody.
I want to. Oh, I'm sorry.
What we don't do is these broad tariffs, because those are bad. Those are very, 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 very bad.
Like somebody. Sorry.
No, go. You say your stuff. Ambrosia just asked a question specifically.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna dip because I'm gonna go live for a little bit. But two things. One, it was funny because somebody that I know without them actually having said, just because of other conversations we've had, voted for the orange, was sitting there talking about how expensive their coffee was, and they didn't understand why it was so expensive, and I couldn't help it. I was just like, because of the tariffs.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't say nothing else. And they were just like, they sat on it for a second. They were like, because of the tariffs. I said, yeah, that's what happens when you tariff something that we don't grow or produce. You end up paying more for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just left it alone. And I'm like, I hope that makes you go do some research, because Jesus.
Ambrosia, yes. I have a link to Zelle on, I have to check, in Discord. I have Venmo that's linked that you can find on my main page. There's quite a few different ways where I get all of it. And I think I get not a vast majority of things like the super chats and stuff, but I don't remember what the exact percentage is.
It's at least 7. It's at least, but if I'm not mistaken, somebody was saying it was like 80 something, like 86, 87. Yeah. It's a substantial amount.
Yeah.
My live, Heidi, I go live after Mike, and my space is just kind of
they look at cats and talk about cats.
we look chill. At cats. We look at cats as just a chill space. Sometimes we talk about music, TV, books, shows.
Pickles.
Sometimes we laugh. No pickles. We talk about foot flakes in my space, okay? We talk about foot flakes, and
every time I'm there, we talk about pickles. That's all I gotta say.
Girthy pickles.
We talk about everything or nothing. It's just kind of a space. And I did it like that on purpose because I know there's a lot of other heavy hitters that are on at the same time I am. There's a lot of heavy stuff that comes on in the morning. So it's kind of just an escape, chill space. And we usually make each other laugh at some point. We laugh at my cats being crazy or completely knocked out in sleep. And it's just, yeah, and then Mike comes in and talks about them disgusting damn pickles.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure that you guys would talk about it whether I was there or not. You just happen to always talk about it when I get there.
Yeah. I love you, brother. Appreciate you letting me be up. I hope you guys everybody has a good day. Make sure you send your heart me. Make sure you join the little super fan club if you're not already part. Then you can have the fire lips emote as well. And I'll see some of you guys in a few minutes.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I'll go start some girthy pickle talk over Keith's live in 10 minutes.
But yeah, so and again, I am interviewing 10 to 17 candidates for office a week on average, so far at least. So those people need our help as much as anything. Those people need their stuff watched as much as anything. Again, do we want to fix this problem? If we want to fix the problem that we've got in terms of our government, in terms of our election issues, people who were run for office not being held accountable, then we need to get people through the primaries that want to fix the problem. That's how we get things fixed. Not just in Republican owned seats, but Democrat seats too. And those people need visibility. Those people need name recognition. Those are necessary. I'll say it again, just in case anyone didn't know. Tomorrow we'll be doing the second half of the live. Will be a live interview with another candidate, which is running in the 7th district of Illinois. Named Isabel Mendoza. Annabelle Mendoza, not Isabel, Annabelle. So if you haven't watched that video of me interviewing her, go watch it. And then, yes, because we're not starting the interview until 11, I'm going to do the first half like normal. So I'll be going live on the tube to start for the first 30 minutes, and then I'll be live both sides. And then when she gets on, then we'll start the interview. So obviously it'll be a little shorter than the last one, but so. And Rosa, I asked a question over on Discord when you get a chance. I'm obviously Ash must be quite busy with schooling and work. So when you get a chance. All right, guys, thank you so much for everything. Thank you for the likes and the shares and the gifts. I'll try and do things a little differently with the gifts, so maybe that can help things. I don't know. We'll find out how that works. But yeah, any help that you guys can give to make it possible for me to keep doing this would be greatly appreciated. Anything that you guys can do to help make it possible for these amazing people who are running for office to win in some cases. You know, there are some people I interviewed that are running for the same seat, and I think it would be amazing for both of you. Just posted a new video today with an amazing person. It's not someone running for Congress. It's just a separate one, but it's an amazing interview. So please, Mission, thank you for completing that one too. Guys, I will see you all tomorrow morning, 9:30 on the tube, 10 o'clock here on TikTok. Thank you, Ambrosia, for becoming a new member and an amucker. You guys are amazing just the way you are, and I love you all very much. Stay safe, stay healthy. Remember to sing, laugh, dance, smile. Do something that makes you happy. Bye, guys. Bye, YouTube. Love you guys.